Hello. Going to try and rehouse my Chilybrachys Discolus. She's been living in this jar, drilled out the top and put a mesh lid in for ventilation for the last year, and molted last week, and now I think she's big enough to be moved up. I've got a mantis den, one of their medium size enclosures. I'll just show you the webbing she's got going in there. Tunnels all the way around. After not seeing her for a good couple of weeks, I spotted a molt in there yesterday. Not yesterday, that was a couple of days ago now. She's been out and about today, so I think she's ready to move onwards and upwards. Shame to destroy her web. Unfortunately, that's the only way I'm going to find her. Old water bowl. To try and keep some of this soil. It's full of springtails. Hence the big pot. Big tub for everything that comes up. There's a water bowl. This just seems so wrong. Tearing apart all of our hard work. I think she's probably in that little lot. And the rest of this just looks to be soil, so I'm going to gently break it up, pour it out. We'll see if we can find her and get her caught up in a cricket pot. Gently loosening up the soil. I don't think she's in what's left in here. But you never know. For a long time, all of her tunnels around the edges were completely clear and you could see everywhere she went. And then a couple of months ago, I don't know, I must have spooked her. She started webbing up across the glass, going for a bit more privacy. I know it's very wet in here at the moment. It's not normally how I keep it, but after she'd molted, I couldn't find her. I started getting a bit nervous and thought maybe a bit more moisture might lure her out a bit. I don't know if it's true, but I get the feeling that when they're hiding down deep, it could be to get more humidity. That's the logic I see anyway. So I flooded her out a bit, trying to get her to come up. She's not going to make it easy, is she? I think that could be her. I'm a little worried. I'm getting her all tangled up in her own web. Yeah, that's her there. So rather than stress her out, I'm just going to take that whole piece of web and pop that straight into the cricket tub. And then you'll be able to see her and move her over. Just check that. that's that. That was easier than I feared. So I'm going to move some stuff around. And the new enclosure I've got is one of these mantis dens. And I think I'm going to put all of that old substrate straight into the bottom of it. Now, I see people go for false bottoms and drainage layers, and well, it sounds like I might be wrong because mine looks absolutely soaked at the moment. Generally speaking, I don't get them wet enough to need the drainage layer. And these mantis den enclosures aren't entirely waterproof, so if I did, then I'd be flooding my house. So I'm going to top this up. I've got a mixture of compost, cocoa coir, moss and a bit of orchid bark in there. It's a mix I find holds the burrows quite well, especially with her, she does like to dig. And then an old springtail culture. I don't think he's doing too well, so I'm going to steal all this sphagnum moss out of here. Some of the orchid bark, and if there's any springtails in there, that's an added bonus. Give that a bit of a mix up. Just run that sphagnum through. Break up some of those loose strands. Now, the last tarantula I rehoused, I made the mistake of going too deep with the substrate. I brought it up to around there and left a couple of inches. I haven't been keeping tarantulas long, heard a lot of horror stories about them falling and rupturing and doing themselves damage, so filled it right up as high as I dare. The problem I had with that is after I've made her a little false burrow with a bit of bark over the top, she decided that she wasn't keen on my burrow, completely dug it up, ended up filling up the whole enclosure right up to the surface. I don't know if you can see there, she's just come out of her bit of web. The awkwardness of the little bit right in front. Never mind, I'll show her as I put her in. She might be a bit small for this enclosure, but they grow, so we'll go with it. One last bit. So this time I'm not going to go up past halfway. I'll leave it about there. And if she does dig and bring up all the substrate, it's not going to be a problem. Then I've got a small piece of cork bark to make a fake sort of starter burrow if she wants to use that. If she's anything like the Brazilian blue, she won't, she'll find her own place. Typically speaking, right down the back of it. I've got a big bundle of moss that I've just taken off one of my pond planters. There to try and encourage her as much as anything, and she's probably not going to burrow through the moss, so that might encourage her to start a burrow somewhere where I can see her. And then we've got a water bowl there. I'm just going to drop in that corner. No, actually I'm going to drop in this back corner again to try and keep her towards the front if possible. Dave of those little beasties do this all the time and make it look so easy. Let's see if you can just see her there. She's balled up a little bit, she's a little shy. I'm just gonna offer her in and give her a little tickle on the back. See if we can get her to come out. gentle touch, and there she goes. Nestled on the moss. Come down here so we can get a better view. I do quite like these mantis-den enclosures. Nice and light. I think I do prefer glass overall, but for a grow out enclosure they do the job. They might be a bit big for her. She could have possibly had another molt in the previous one, but this will do her for another year. And then we'll move her up into, I've got a 30 by 30 Komodo, or a 20 by 20 by 30. That's probably better for her top opening, so you can have nice deep burrows. That wasn't too bad. And there she is on the shelf. Just still sitting there in the back of the moss. I hope she doesn't try to dig down the back corner, because then I will be annoyed that I'll never see her. I could always just turn the enclosure around, I suppose. And then, as I was saying about the Brazilian blue, she's just molted actually. So probably won't thank me for shining a torch in her face. And by the look of it, she's doing her housework and tidying away her old molt. But as I was saying, she has absolutely filled the top of her enclosure. You can see the moss layer where I did leave it, just above halfway. She's gone for quite an extravagant burrow and filled in the upper layer.